What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Bullish Chips, where we use a proven and repeatable strategy to make money every day. This channel happens to focus on the Bullish Semiconductor ETF, which goes by the ticker symbol SOXL. But the charting method and the trading method that we use can be implemented with any company that's publicly traded in the U.S. stock market. So make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe and notification button as well. That way you're alerted to when we release new videos. Thanks to all those who continue to tune in. We really appreciate it. It really helps the channel grow. Welcome to those who are new to the channel. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Feel free to go back and look at past videos, and we look forward to having you join us in the future as well. So the nightly and weekend videos, like tonight's video, we focus on identifying triggers and targets for everything from small time frames, scalps, intraday trades, all the way up to long-term swings or what people call leap trades as well. So for a deeper dive into exactly how our charts are set up, or how we set up our charts, broadening formations, levels of support, resistance, things of that nature, make sure you check out the bonus content on our YouTube page. We've got a couple of videos that dive deeper into that for you. And if you're not familiar with the STRAT, which is the base of our charting and trading method, make sure you check out the description of this video. There's a link to a free quick reference PDF for you. It's a very simple way to understand price action and get a good indicator as to where price will go to with very specific entries and exits. All right, so make sure you check that out if you're not familiar with it. And yeah, just encourage you to watch the full video. We go over all time frames, so there's a lot of good information that gets put out there, especially with tomorrow being the start of a new month and new quarter. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into the agenda for today. First, we'll recap the price action from today, Tuesday, March 31st, before we zoom out, look at the week, month, quarter, and year. And then we will zoom back in like we normally do to take a look at the what we call our 4-hour triggers and the triggers and targets for Wednesday, April 1st, the month of April, since tomorrow is the first day of the month, and for the second quarter of 2026, because tomorrow is the start of a new quarter as well. And then we'll also just do a quick review of the triggers and targets for the week and year, because those obviously haven't changed. All right. So just going to the chart, starting with the 5-minute like we normally do, so that we can take advantage of the proven and repeatable strategy. That strategy being looking for the opening print, which in this case is signified by the price level 1 indicator here. And if we get higher lows at or above opening print, we want to look to get into calls targeting overnight high and previous high a day. On the flip side, if we get lower highs at or below the opening print, then we want to look to get into puts targeting overnight low and previous low a day. All right, so here you can see we opened up, had a nice little push up, pull back, got the higher low, and that was our entry, right? We're above opening print, above overnight high as well. So that does take one of the targets out of the picture, right? At that point, previous high day is the only target, but it gives us some good magnitude, although we will have to fight through some levels of resistance to get there, right? So we enter, after this 2 down, when this candle goes 2 up, we enter as soon as this candle goes 2 up, breaching the high of the 2 down. And you can see we came up here and we basically got equal highs, right? So if we try that equal high, got the equal high. As soon as we go 2 down on this candle, that locks this in as an equal, or it was actually a slightly lower high. And that breaks the uptrend, right? So as soon as this 2 down goes below the low of this 2 up, we went ahead and sold. Today we were, didn't get too much from that move, but it wasn't the end of the world, right? Because in order for us to get a 2 down on the 15-minute, which you can't have a higher low unless you get a 2 down. But in order to get a 2 down on the 15-minute, you have to have a downtrend kick in on the 5-minute, right? So not a big deal. We exited with just slight profit there. But if we take a look at the 15-minute, right, we look at just today, there we go. We can see that here was that downtrend on the 5-minute. And, here's that equal, slightly lower high here on this 3 candle. And not only do we set the higher low on the 15, but it's a 2 down, 2 up reversal. So the magnitude of that move is the high of the 3. We didn't reach it on just the 2 up. We obviously pulled back a little bit, but we made a higher low. And that's where things really kind of took off. Excuse me. Right, so we flew through the quarter and year flip, right? So this flipped the quarter and the year back green, right? Yesterday they had finally flipped down to red, giving us full time frame continuity to the downside with the week, month, quarter, and year all red. But today this flipped the quarter and the year back green. We pushed through last week's low, this 45.96 level, this small dashed purple line. And then we also, we came up and found resistance at the 2025, the beginning of the 2025 resistance, right? So 2025 had a resistance zone at the end of the year, like last 6 months of the year, of 40.76 to 46.79 to 50.76. I believe 50.76, right? Yeah, 50.76. So there was that is the, we're breaking back into that resistance zone. It was used as support initially earlier on in the year, which we'll take a look at here on the higher time frames, but we fell through it yesterday and we were reapproaching it from the bottom side. And so it took a little while for it to break through. Once it did break through, obviously you got this soft higher low here with this bullish engulfing candle. It just continued to push up through the end of the day, put it in another higher low. Couldn't quite get the higher high on the 1 hour or the 4 hour, which we'll see here in a second. But we're in overnight trading. We're already up to 48.41, which is above that 48.29, which is the higher high mark for the 1 hour and the 4 hour. So as long as something drastic doesn't happen overnight that pulls us back below the high of Tuesday, March 31st, and then just drops from there, then we should have our higher high on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. Now, granted, that is coming from a lower low, so that just signifies that, we're creating this broadening formation here, right? So yes, things are starting to look better, but we need to continue to be patient here. We're still fighting some resistance levels, right? Here's the 1 hour downtrend line. Again, we don't put a whole lot of weight into trend lines, but when they cross over horizontal lines, that's when we put a little bit more weight into them. Yes, it's not crossing over exactly right here on this particular chart, but you can see they're basically in the same vicinity, right? Previous high of day was going to be a resistance level as well. 46.79 we talked about, it was a major resistance level since halfway through last year. So we do have a little bit of work to do. I would like to see a higher low above these levels here to show that they're no longer resistance, but they're support for that continued push up. And there's plenty of room to put in a higher low if we do pull back. So it's not the end of the world if we do open tomorrow without getting the higher high in the 1 and 4 hour. If we do get that just immediate pullback, it could just be a pullback to set a higher low. At that point, we're getting lower highs, higher lows. So we have consolidation, and we, again, have to continue to be patient until price pops, either up or down, right? So that's what we've got for today. It was pretty simple, right? And another reason why it was so simple, if we look at the internals for QQQ, I mean, come on. 80QD opened in the highest part of the higher part of trend higher zone, right? Above 2000, it's usually 1500 that marks the start of the trend higher zone. So we're handily in the trend higher zone, right? Vol QD, it started out positive and just immediately made a push up, and then you can see by the end of the day we're deep into trend higher zone. So by 11:30 Central, we were already in trend higher zone. And the tick, I haven't seen the tick like this in a while, right? We opened in trend higher zone, came to the zero line, bounced off of it, trend higher zone, slightly below the zero line, then trend higher zone, basically stayed at the zero line or above all day, right? I haven't seen that in some time. So those were just more reasons to just keep it pinned on that on the call side of things, right? Things really were working out for the bulls there. So again, is it a counter trend rally, to just give us that lower high, or especially on the daytime frame, right? We talk about the 4 hour and the 1 hour higher high, but we're still a ways off from the 1 day, right? So if we look at the 1 hour, right, we're talking about this soft lower high that we would want to get above for the higher high. That high is 48.29, right? And we didn't quite make it there today. There's also this more solid higher low right here, which is 48.61. So at the very least, we want to see the 48.29, 48.61 would be even better if we can get above that to make, the true higher high. But again, we are coming from a lower low, so it would just be creating a broadening formation at that point. If we do, like I said, just go down tomorrow, we don't get that higher high on the 1 hour and 4 hour, then we've still got all this room down here to put in a higher low. So not the end of the world there, right? That's the 1 hour. Looking at the 4 hour, let's get a little better chart here. Looking at the 4 hour, there we go. So here's that soft lower high that we were talking about. There's not actually like a more concrete high until back up here at the $58.60 level. So definitely want to breach above that. But again, if we get the pullback, we got the a lot of space for the higher low. Again, we talked about in yesterday's video that we were very well set up for a 3, 2 down, 2 up. We got that today. Again, we talked about how because of the size of the 3, we may not make it all in one candle. So we got the combo 2 up. So 3, 2 down, combo 2 up, almost reached magnitude there. So STRAT played out almost perfectly there. And it came off of the bounce of a couple of major couple of major levels. Last quarter's low. I'm sorry, no. That's wrong. It was last quarter's 50% level, and market makers expected move low, right? So those were, and also this daily broadening formation coming through here. So you can see how all those converge at one point, and we're getting that bounce off of it. I'm not saying we're going back to highs, all-time highs, anything like that. That's just where we got the bounce. That was one of the points that one of the levels that we pointed out where we could get a bounce. And again, there's plenty of room to make a lot of moves here, right? We talked about this zone right here being the trading zone that we've been in for the last 3 weeks, almost a month now, and was Monday, just a look below and fail. Right now it's looking like it, right? Look below, fail back up into the range. If it is true look below and fail, then we should be getting back up to that $58.60 level. How long it will take, that's another story. We know the market makers expected move high is, why is that marked low? The market makers expected move high is, expected high is 53.42. So again, we got to kind of temper our expectations. That 53.42 level does kind of line up with this 4 hour and 1 day downtrend line as well. But we do have this gap here at 54 that could act as that magnet to just continue to pull us up through those resistance levels and at the very least fill this gap. If we did and made that a lower high, now we're looking at going back to the bottom of the range again. If not, then, and we continue to push to the top of the range, then again, once we get up here, we got to have some patience. We got to see, are we going to do a look above and fail? Are we going to do a look above and turn resistance into support? Are we not even going to do a look above? Are we just going to fail back to the bottom of the range? We've got to, again, just continue to approach the market with patience. There's no real trend at this point in time. So we've just got to, until the end of this month, there was a conflict of time frames as well, with the month was red and the quarter and the year were green. The week flip-flopping back and forth between green and red. So, it explains why there's a lot of chop out here. If we can get back into full time frame continuity to the upside, which, has a lot better chance now that we're starting a new quarter, new month tomorrow as well, then we could start to see the bulls get that momentum and push back up. If we're just looking at things just purely from a positional standpoint, let's bring out this chart, right? We're at the bottom of the range that we've, been in since the beginning of the year. Again, here's this 46.79 level that we talked about being the major resistance in come on, think or swim. In 2025, there's that major resistance level, right? We fell through it. We're trying to pop back above it and turn that back into support. But again, we have to keep a lookout for, was this at the beginning of the year just a look above and fail on this 46.79 level? That is a possibility, right? So again, lower low on the day, coming from a higher high. So we've got the broadening formation. Let's see, I should have the broadening formations on there. There we go. So we've got the broadening formation. But again, we've still got a lot of room to put in a lower high on the day chart. So just keep that in mind. If we do put in the lower high, don't just go full blown back into puts, right? Because even if we put in the lower high, we could get the pullback for the higher low to reverse the trend, right? So we may be in the middle of a trend reversal, which just means, on the lower time frames, 1 hour, 4 hour, 1 day, which means that we just have to be that much more patient, right? So that's kind of where we're at for the day and below. Let's zoom out a little bit more and take a look at the week, right? Because we talked about in the weekend video, oops, that's not what we want. In the weekend video, we talked about how the 3 from last week could be setting up a 3 2 down 2 up, to get back up to the upside, right? The 2 up would have to come next week, obviously. So we're gonna have to still have some more patience, but right now it's looking pretty perfect, right? Make this a little bigger for folks, right? So 3 2 down 2 up, possibly, right? In order for that to take shape, a lot of times you need a failed 2 down, which doesn't necessarily mean that you have to finish green, but we have to have that wick on the bottom and have the bulls basically buying it back up into, if not into the previous week's range, as close to that as possible, and that's what we've got so far. Not only are we back, we've got the wick below, we're current prices back in previous week's price, but we're also slightly green as well. So still got a long ways to go to finish the week. And who knows, if we get some momentum, we could pull off a double 3, right? A bearish engulfing candle followed by a bullish engulfing candle, which is usually a pretty bullish signal. So, just be aware that could happen, and we could be going back to the top of the range, expanding that broadening formation a little bit more. All right. On the month, got an interesting situation because, right, we triggered the 2 up, 2 down in March. It ran to strat completion, right? And then because it ran through strat completion, it triggered the 1 combo 2 up, 2 down. The magnitude of that move is down here at 28, where we've got this gap. So that is definitely a possibility that we get this 1 combo 2 up, combo 2 down to continue this month in April to run to strat completion. So just got to keep a lookout for that. We do need to get back down below March's low of 39.52 in order for that to re-trigger. So we've got a little bit of room to play with until we, if we are going to get back to the level. So just play the volatility on the intraday part of things until that kind of gets that ironed up, right? And that the week and the month are what we're really waiting on, because the quarter, we're actually running the risk of going 2 up, 2 down on the quarter. Right, we obviously pushed back up at the end of the month, which was the end of the quarter, which definitely helped out because we were red on the quarter last year, and it was looking a lot more like we were going to go 2 down starting April. But this looks like we're going in the right direction going into April. Is that we pushed back up and got green, but we still got a huge wick on top. Still, more of an inverted hammer than anything else. Maybe kind of doji-ish, gravestone type doji-ish. So if we do go 2 down on the quarter, right, we've got 3 months for that to happen. If we go below the first quarter's low, then again, that gives us a 2 up, 2 down reversal. Magnitude of that is the low of the 2 to the left of the 2 up, which puts us back down here at the $28 level. So remember back when the month and the quarter and the year also, we're all calling for that 70.08 price point, and we reached it. It's kind of how things are looking to the downside, 28. So it's going to be very important that the bulls take control over the next, in the short term, to really start to get some momentum pushing back up, because there's plenty of magnitude to be had to the downside. All right. And on the year, not really much for us to do. The strat has been run, right? We went 2 down last year, went 2 up this year, and it reached strat at the 70.08 level. So not much to say here on the year other than just continue to watch it, right? Do we end up turning into a red candle, a red inverted hammer? Do we, if we really get that momentum going, do we start filling all these gaps, pushing to the downside, and then have some type of red 3 on the year? Who knows, right? There again, a lot would have to happen for that to end up like that, but we've got to continue to keep all possibilities in mind, right? Now, some possibilities have higher probabilities than others, but we need to keep all those in mind. So that's what we've got from a zoomed in view, to a zoomed out view. Let's go ahead and take a look at a more zoomed in view again, to talk about how we'll approach tomorrow, right? And especially the open, right? So with the proven and repeatable strategy, right, we look for that higher low at or above opening print And let's get the 4-hour markers on the board. It was a big day. There we go. So as of right now, overnight highs 48.40. Well, looks like we popped back above there. So it'll fluctuate, obviously, because it's overnight, right? Overnight low is at 47.64. And let's just say for illustration purposes, we get some type of flush in the overnight hours, and we end up bottoming out in the overnight, basically at last week's low. And then let's say that by open tomorrow, we're back somewhere in the middle of the overnight range, and we open here, right? If we open here, we want to look for, that's our opening print. We want to look for higher lows at or above that opening print to get into calls. Now, not a lot of magnitude to the upside here, right? Previous high day and overnight high are right here. So you would want to look at getting rid of a decent chunk of your position there if you're trying to adhere just to this proven and repeatable strategy, right? And this is mostly for early morning scalps. Now, what you can do is use this strategy for early entries into longer day trades. And then once we reach this previous high day, overnight high, you flip to your notes on the 4-hour and the 1 day and things of that nature to see where your next targets will be before you start, scaling out or selling your position, right? At the same time, got a lot of magnitude to the downside. So if we open here, maybe push down, bounce off overnight low, and then get some type of lower high at or below opening print, then we want to look to get into puts. Overnight low, obviously not too far away, so maybe you scale out of a couple there, but previous low a day does have a pretty big magnitude there. So you would look at unloading a good chunk of your position there should we reach it tomorrow, right? Zooming out a little bit further, just kind of looking more from a day trade perspective. What I want to do here, there we go. Whoa, there we go. On the 4-hour, right, we talked about the 3, 2 down, 2 up that triggered today. Hasn't totally reached its magnitude. It's got a few cents left to go. So 3, 2 down, combo 2 up could kick off tomorrow. Now, if we reach that, then we've got a series of combo 2 downs that we would work back through, the highs of those being the targets. But the completion of the STRAT reversal would end at the high of the 3 from Monday, should we reach it tomorrow morning, right? On the downside, if we go 2 down in that first 4-hour, then we've got this 2 up, 2 down. It would technically be a lower high, and the entry would be at the low of the second 4-hour candle from Tuesday, and the magnitude of that move would be the low of Tuesday, right? So 2 up, 2 down, entry here, exit here, right? On the day chart, right, we talked about we didn't go 2 up on the day today, so we haven't made that, and that being a result of not making a higher high on the 1-hour or 4-hour. So if we do go 2 up tomorrow, that gives us a 2, 1, 2 up, entry at the high of the 1, exit at the high of the 2 to the left of the 1. So not a lot of magnitude there, right? But that would then put us in this combo 2 down, combo 2 up, magnitude being the high of this 2 down. And if we reach that and continue pushing, then we're in this combo 2 down, combo 2 up. That would bring us back up to the gap from Friday morning. All right, to the downside, 2, 1, 2 down reversal. We've got a little bit more magnitude there if you wanted to just play that 4-hour strat. So you'd enter at the low of the 1, exit at the low of the 2. Very clean and simple, right? We get back down to that level. We're hitting market makers expected to move low last month's and last quarter's low. This daily broadening formation again. Look to see price at the very least go sideways, if not get a slight bounce, even if we're going to continue to the downside. All right. Let's go ahead and flip to the notes here. We've been looking at the charts long enough. So for Wednesday, April 1st, 2026, there'll be 190 trading days left in 2026. And the close price on Tuesday, March 31st, was $49.71. And we are starting a new month. I missed that. So we know the week is back green, right? It has to go below 47.86 in order to flip red. We don't know what the flip is going to be for April yet, because April hasn't opened, but we do know that the quarter and the year have flipped back green. We got back above that 45.13. If we go back below that 45.13, then obviously the quarter and the year go red. Market makers expected move for this week was plus or minus $6.81 from the close price on Friday, giving us an expected range of 53.42 to 39.80. If you're not familiar with that market makers expected move, make sure you check out our weekend video where we dive deeper into that. We know the gaps are above and the gaps are below. Always keep those in mind because they do, excuse me, tend to act as magnets towards price. Excuse me. We talked about from a scalping perspective, so especially early morning, early part of the day. We want to look for higher lows at or above opening print to get into calls, or lower highs at or below opening print to get into puts. On the 4 hour, we talked about if we go down, that gives us a 2 up, 2 down reversal, triggering at 46.18, magnitude being 42.61, so decent magnitude there. But if we go to the upside, it's just a continuation pattern, triggering at 48.18, and we've got some extended targets out here for you. On the day, if we go, I missed that. Green one, there we go. So on the day, we would have a 1 2 down, triggering at 39.52. Since it's not a reversal pattern or anything like that, we don't have a magnitude, so we did list some extended targets out here for you. And then if we go to the upside, we get this 2 1 2 up that we talked about with not a lot of magnitude, right? 48.18 to 48.29. But if we get above 48.29, that kicks off this 2 down combo 2 up, which would take us to 49.38. We get to 49.38, then now we're in a combo 2 down, combo 2 up. Excuse me. That takes us out to 50.76, and then we've got some extended targets out here for you as well if we're just really running. We already talked about on the week we went 3 2 down. We're no longer in force, so we'll take that bold off of there. We leave it underlined to remind us that it did trigger. It went below 45.96, but we are back above 45.96 and looking for that green 3 or that bullish engulfing candle in the week. So we want to see that 58.25 level. On the month, starting with the new month, if we go 2 down, that would then trigger this 1 combo 2 up, combo 2 down. We've got to get down to that 39.52 level though, so a little bit ways to go before that would actually trigger again. And then again, the magnitude of that move is 28.12. Oops, excuse me, 28.12. If we do go to the upside this month, then we get the 2 down, 2 up reversal. That triggers at 62.82, and it has a magnitude of. I didn't put the magnitude on there. Let's go chart it real quick with each other. So if we go to the month, 2 down, 2 up. Last February high was 72.36. 72.36 is the magnitude, and actually I'm going to take that out of there and we'll put it here. There we go. So on the month, if we go 2 down, 2 up, that triggers at 62.82. We've got some targets on the way up to the magnitude of 72.36, and if we reach 72.36, then we've got some extended targets for you as well. All right, so main thing is to watch we don't re-trigger that 1 combo 2 up, 2 down on the month, so we want to stay above that 39.52. And again, if we get above 62.82, let's go ahead and run to 72.36. All right. On the quarter, again, it's a new quarter, so if we go 2 down, that does trigger at 39.52, and that would give us a 2 up, 2 down with the magnitude all the way down there at that 28.12 level, again, lining up with the month. So again, we don't want to see that 39.52 unless you're trying to see the 28.12. If we reach 28.12 and continue to go through there, we've got targets of 21.98, 15.03, right? Going all the way back down to the April 7th low from 2025, the 2022 low of 621, and then the all-time low of 357, right? But again, if we go 2 up on the quarter, it's not a reversal. It's just a continuation. So we'll have a 2 up, 2 up continuation triggering at 72.36. All-time high is 74.21, and then we've got our extended targets out here for you. Right? We talked about on the year. We already ran the 2 down, 2 up strat, so nothing else really to see there. But yeah, that's what we've got for our triggers and targets for everything from a scalping perspective all the way up through the 1 year chart. Right? I tried to jam in as much information as possible without taking up too much of your time, so we do hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy the video, go ahead and hit that like button. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help the channel grow. And we're just trying to spread some free knowledge out there, help make trading a little bit easier for some folks out there, right? So no membership fees or anything like that. The only thing that we ask is that, you know, you give us a thumbs up or even give the video a share, right? If you think that this will really help somebody, go ahead and share the link with them. But that'll do it for today's video. We'll go ahead and close it up like we normally do. If you're watching this Tuesday night, we hope you get some good rest tonight. Wake up refreshed tomorrow morning. If you're watching this Wednesday morning or Wednesday during the day, we hope you got some good rest last night and woke up refreshed this morning. And we look forward to getting out there and trading with you.